welcome back to Turn Pain into Power podcast. Today's episode is deep and it's going to help a lot of you ladies out there, ladies and gentlemen, because it's going to bring awareness. Y'all remember to check out the custom t-shirt. We got my co-host Keisha in here in the building.
Yes, I'm glad to be back. Let me come up so y'all can see my shirt.
Yes, check out the custom t-shirts if you can't copy your art piece.
Again in case.
Yes, support the movement.
So
check out the custom t-shirts and art pieces on TikTok, PainintoPOWER Shop. And we have my co-host, bestie, soul sister, Keisha, and you can follow her on IG.
Key_wizard. As you know, she got her shirts. Y'all support. Show them your shirts.
Paintings on the shirt. This is our original. Sky's the limit.
And this is work from her. Raw, natural, original, authentic.
Yes.
That she placed on the shirt. She invested in it. You know, so y'all invest in her because it's only right.
Yes, and thank you for coming back, Keisha.
I'm glad to be back. I am excited to get into this new topic.
Yes, and cheers. And cheers to new beginnings, y'all, because this gonna save somebody. This gonna free somebody. This free game right here.
Right.
Now, toxic men set you up to get the highest return on their minimum investment. Yes, y'all, this right here, this ain't I wish I knew. But I want to paint the picture clearly before I get into it, y'all, because it's very much about sales. When it comes to how a man plays the game, it's very relatable to how anyone plays the game. Like, let's say if you like to go to the casino. Anybody that goes to the casino, they have their own techniques and strategies to take advantage of the leverage that they will have as soon as they implement certain tactics. Okay? Okay. Number one, men will use certain strategies to gain leverage and take advantage of their leverage to be able to get the most on the return of the minimum investment that they put in. Now, we got to remember, y'all, life is a game at hand. This type of game, though, it's really not about winning. It's about getting the most return on the lowest investment. Now, if you think about it in sales, I'm a salesperson. So talk to me about sales, talk to me about numbers. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to put two and two together for sure. Something that I realized is that when you limit access on some supply and demand, that is a way that you can control and also lower the value on whoever is your opponent. Mm-hmm. Whoever it is that you're trying to play. Mm-hmm. So when you think about it clearly, they limit access. And when you're in and out of the dating game, let's say you've been married, mm-hmm. you ain't been in the dating game for a while, you get in the dating game, and something that you realize is how quick men are to shift. Mm-hmm. And when they shift, what they're doing is they're controlling access to them.
Right.
They're controlling attention. And in the midst of it, if you fall into it and you chase, you're always going to put in more to get the least out of them. Right. Because they've already set it up. That's what they call you up for the kill. Mm-hmm. They set you up to entrap you in a dynamic where you're always pouring in more so that they can chip and give you crumbs, bare minimum. Now, what is something that you can relate to that either you have done, because this goes both ways, y'all. The game goes both ways. The game's not just men. But I want to point out that when they say it's a man's world in patriarchy, this leverage exists in this society as a man's world. They are at a higher position. Now, what are some ways that men use mm-hmm. and techniques that you have been through to entrap women in this type of position?
So, some of the things I've been through, I mean, first of all, it's a lot. I dated a lot. I got around, I won't say I got around a lot. That don't sound right. But, you know, I had my fair, amount in relationships. And I would say some things that I've encountered for that right one. You know, we all have mm-hmm. that specific guy who just got that, something different. It appears as different mm-hmm. than other
Number 2, which is basically when men do the hot and cold, they do the switch up. So as predators, they lure you in, they try to hook you like a drug. Now you're over here chasing more oxytocin. Now you're over here just chasing over that high, because not only have they, number 1, limited access, number 2, they entrapped you and conditioned you into receiving a certain amount of attention. However, now because they got you, they have to pull back. So this leads into number 2, that is that they not only then entrap you, now they escalate to pulling back. And that is the only way really in a game that you can check. That's a check. That's like, oh, let me see, let me test. Let me see, is this working? Is this person hooked? Are they gonna chase me? Because that only then I can move up to number 3. Yes, y'all, it is deep.
Yes. So, men, you'll settle for things depending on, the state that you're in or the situation that you're going through in a current season in your life. And, a man will come and sway you in, with their charm, being all charismatic, and, you falling for it. They're the hero, So when that happens, they get you by giving flowers for me.
They'll charm
you because I'm one of those simple people. You can give me a car, you can give me flowers, you can show me a little bit of attention, and I'm ready. Not ready to drop draws or anything, but it just the attention. It's the attention that you give, and you're so faithful and so loyal in that moment, and then boom, you just take it away. At any given once we're comfortable. So I will say, based on experience, that's how you can get me. If my life is chaotic at the moment, and you seeing the right things, you might got you one for a little bit,
That's right.
So that's just a little pinch of salt of, one of the experiences I've been through. A man just will listen.
Yes. And that really does lead into number 2, because y'all gotta understand, y'all, these men are predators. When you think about it as a black and white, a person that's trying to lure you in, they ain't being really real about themselves, because their intention is always to extract more out of you, the transaction or the situation that they create. Ooh, that's a deep one. To gain more than what they ever intend to put in. So it's already not a fair type of deal, because they're not going into it with genuine intentions. Number 2, another thing that I think about that just comes to mind when I'm discussing these topics, and when I look back at like some of the things I've been through, it's like when you grow up with childhood trauma, and you may have either attachment issues, you may have codependency. They will use their leverage to take advantage of that. One of the things I distinctly remember that my narcissistic ex is the trauma bond. And this brings me back to when they are trying to charm you and reel you in. Because what they'll do is they'll marry you, y'all. And you don't even understand. You're like, this is the love of my life. I had never met somebody that had so many things in common. Like, we even have the same traumas. And so what they do is they position themselves in a place, they position themselves to be able to save the day and play hero, with no intentions of saving you or playing hero. You understand that? No intentions to ever saving you in no type, shape, or way. Only trying to use that to fulfill their, what is it called, a second agenda?
Their main agenda, really.
Their main agenda, really, because their main agenda is to extract more from you, the exchange, or the situation that they create with you, than they will ever intend to pour into you. So it brings me back to reciprocity, because a lot of the times up front, when you're dating or even in a relationship, what you start to notice is that you're pouring more in than you ever give back.
Right.
And that brings me back to the childhood trauma, because if you were raised, for example, with narcissistic parents, you're always yearning for validation, and you will settle for a little more attention from somebody to be able to pour into. So you give your all for that little bit of attention that you may have not received growing up. Now, what are some ways that you recall dating or in your previous marriage that not only were you reeled in, but that the trauma bond and the things that you have shared with this person, they have used against you?
Oh.
To gain leverage.
Yeah. I mean, I could talk forever on that topic. I was married twice. So that should tell you something. I was married twice. And I would say,
she said, "Oh."
What I learned is we date our fathers, unfortunately.
Ooh.
We date our fathers. I know that always sounds weird, but you gotta just look into that shit. Like, however your father raised you is typically what, you know.
You're gonna look for
your father is your child's first love. Unfortunately, that's how it works.
I got it saved in my car, though.
Right.
We gonna get it together.
Right. No play. But yes, women,
Cheers.
children.
Cheers to that, because this is a tough conversation, y'all. Even when I want to say, give me mine.
Okay.
Give me mine, goddammit. I got something to say.
Right.
Listen, when I tell you this is not even part of the things that we were going to hover on, but I'm so happy we are, because we really do date our fathers. We do look for that example that we received growing up from a father and the role of a father, whether it was a stepfather, a brother, a cousin. Listen, whoever we have
Any
as
male
a male role,
any male
we
role.
look for that in the men that we date.
Right.
We don't even realize
Even
it.
if it's a friend, honestly.
And if you're used to alpha males, a man that provide, a person will sit up here and mirror that. They will make you believe that they are that. They are that nigga. They are providers. Just to extract more from the exchange, more from you than they'll ever even intend to pour back into you. So there's no reciprocity, there's no authenticity, and most importantly, it's a person faking it.
Right.
It's a motherfucker out here, oh, we better get real in this shit. It's a motherfucker out here trying to act like they're the man when they are not, indeed.
Right.
When they can't provide, they don't have the mental capacity to be there to provide or to even want to go the stretch. This gonna lead us into our other topic, but I'm gonna let Sis speak on her experience.
Right. And just to piggyback off of Sis, like, why do we do that as women? Because it's familiar. You know, we want that familiar love.
Yes.
We don't want a man that treat us right. We want what daddy did. You
Don't
know?
ask me why I knocked on wood. Right. That's some real shit.
For real. We want what daddy did, stepdaddy did, or whatever the male role did. It's familiar. So anything that's outside of that zone, we don't recognize. We don't understand it.
We normalize abuse.
We normalize abuse, and we look for these men, and they say those right things. What we, you know, when we're in these low states of mind. And we settle, and that's how they trap us, because they see it. They listen. Oh, I hear you, baby. Let me get you some food. You know we love food as women. Let me get you some food. Let me get you a drink. Tell me everything. It's like those psychics tell me, and they got the
psychological
and you
abuse.
just hypnotize, and you know they throwing it down. You know what I'm saying? You know they whining and dining, and boom, you trapped. And you have to ask, how did I get here? You know, time going when you in that puppy love stage and that 3-month stage. And they saying all the right things, doing all the right things. They done paid a couple of bills, you know, not even the big ones. You know, they done paid a couple of bills and they lured you in. But you sit there and end up with a baby or kids. And you wonder how, when you sit down and think what you with this man that you really don't like, you know, it's all just settling for you, because that's what it takes, is settlement. And you realize, what the fuck am I doing?
What am I doing?
And how does that start? Honestly, it starts from childhood. When we watching our fathers, we watching examples of how someone should treat you as a man. So we watching if he goes to work. We watching what he buys your mama. We watching how he reacts when your mama is upset.
And if his accent,
you know,
if
he's absent, that's even worse, baby.
Check me out. If he's absent and you don't have any male roles, now you're going to settle for anything,
because you going off of your own assumption and what you see in the world or whatever movie you watch. You know, so the male figures in your life is way more important than what you think. Now, I had 2 male figures in my life, and I will say it made me emotionally unavailable. You know, because both of my parents, their love language wasn't "I love you." It wasn't hugs. It was that tough shit. Get out there and work shit.
Go get here. I got you a plate of food.
Right, and it made me independent. But when I got in a relationship and they doing that lovey-dovey shit, I was. That shit
unaccustomed.
Yeah, what is this? That's not my love language, but that's another another topic, but I'm just saying you love your father first, and that's the man you go after, because you have to. We all go off an example, yes. You know, and whatever our male figures in our life are, that's what we go for, and that's how we become somebody's prey. You know,
don't be nobody's prey.
Don't be nobody's prey.
And like I was saying, this is when men position themselves to earn from every exchange without the burden of owning anything. And it's like when they say, why buy the cow when I can have the free milk? Why buy the maintenance on a Lexus when I could get a rental? You dig? And that's when you know this men are pulling back, because they want to keep it looking, cover up, mask as a casual interaction, a casual exchange. When in reality, you out here giving wifey. You out here giving more than what you're ever going to receive. And something something that this brings me back to, y'all, is like when women are dating and men are painting it out to be hubby, husband, or, you know, just a charming, good man. And it's really just a mask, because they really not even intending to do none of that. They ain't intending to maintain you. Okay, Miss Alexis, Mercedes, Beamer, Benz, or Bentley. Right. They just trying to rent it. They ain't trying to pay the maintenance on it. They ain't trying to do relationship. You know, they ain't trying to maintain a relationship type shit.
They ain't trying to put that good gas in there.
But they trying to extract.
They settling for 87.
We were authentic here. And this goes back to that, to be honest. A person's not being authentic if they're just putting on a mask, playing hero. It's like a whole circus in this bitch, to be real. You doing all that when you ain't really trying to maintain that. And that's why we speaking on that today. Now, what are some circus activities that men do that you can recall to entrap you, reel you in, or paint the picture like they are hero, like they are hubby, like they are the prince, the king, when they really a frog, a peasant, ain't shit nigga, a fork nigga.
I just feel like they paint themselves as king. Like, I just feel like they do the most to make it seem like they have their life together. Like, they open the door for you. You know, they're gonna buy the flowers. They're gonna pay for the meal. For your businesses. Right. They don't open, period. Like, you know, just the car door, nothing major, just little stuff to, you know, put on this act, put on this face, this mask, this character. Hold on to that character until you get good and comfortable. Yes. And that's just like, and it's simple. It's actually easy to trap us, because most of us as women are so gullible, you know, so gullible. And it all comes, that's another topic, but it all comes with, self-love. Like, oh, he look good, he smell good. Yes. You know, he got a little money, he's spending a little dollars on me, and we get distracted so easily. And we not even, you know, we settle for less. We doing wifey stuff early. And
you know, be wifey
too early. And they always wonder why, but it's because if you giving all you got, then what do he have to look forward to? Baby, you showing everything. So, you know, when you give too much and you don't set those standards for yourself or love yourself, and he not loving you like, you know, whatever fantasy in your mind, you know, may be, then you just settling for less and you falling into the circus, you know, and these niggas will run game on you. Next thing you know, you go to the car one day and you sitting there and he don't open the door for you.
Don't fall for it.
You know, and you know, I'm hungry, baby, and he don't pay for that meal. He looking at you and you looking at him and y'all looking at each other, you know. Right. And then he start lacking and all of that is gone. Everything he was doing in the beginning, now y'all arguing. Now you're looking at him sideways, but you're settling because you're like, oh, maybe he off this day. But no, that's who he really is, because he's settled and now he's comfortable. So it's easy to fall in that trap. And those are some of the things I experienced. You know, they'll be going strong and then boom, they lacking and you looking like, who is this?
Yes.
You know, who is that?
Please remember to check out the custom t-shirts. Sky is the limit. Keep turning that pain into power, y'all. And remember to check out the custom t-shirts and art pieces available on TikTok, Pain into Power Shop. Remember to check out my girl Keisha. She is self-published author.
Yes.
And my book will be out soon. It's going to be a sequel of Turning Pain into Power, y'all. How to Dismantle the Narcissist. Woo! Y'all, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to say ladies and gentlemen because there's some ladies out here that they some beasts. There's some ladies out here playing the game that, yeah. That's all I'm going to say. So don't sell yourself short. Never settle for less.
Love yourself. Love yourself.
Love yourself.
Know that your love and what your expectations cannot be limited. Don't let them tell you what they're going to do. You know, men will do exactly what.
Please remember to check out the custom t-shirts, y'all. And check out the art pieces available on TikTok. Pain into Power Shop. Y'all, number 5 is deep, y'all. Because this goes back to the saying as, why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free? And that's why we're discussing this topic today, y'all. Because when you fall for this type of game where the man is gaining more from you than he is pouring back into you, it's a lose-lose, y'all. Been there, done that. And what ends up happening, y'all, is that will a man control access to them? Check me out, y'all. They'll control access to their resources. And if you've ever been with a man long enough, or not even long enough, because some people have kids with this person, because this person has painted the perfect picture. Right. They really have done their mostest to get their mostest, and then obviously they pull back. But to say the least, also it works both ways, because you can really meet somebody that has value and is a good, genuine person in a short amount of time. And when you have kids with a person, that's when you really realize, like, oh, not only will they control access to them while they're playing this game, they'll control access to their resources, and they'll shorthand their own kids in order to get the message through to you. Right. Bitch, I'm going to get more from you than I'm ever going to get back. Instagram is, and please remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel, y'all. But yes, y'all, this here is like a round table experience, because these are topics that need to be spoke on. Because when you think about it, somebody out here wearing a mask, trying to get the most out of you, you out here really genuinely dating and trying to meet, trying to get to know somebody, and you giving your most authentic self. You really, don't fall into that game. You're going to know when somebody's being their real, authentic self, because they're going to reciprocate. Emphasis on the reciprocation. It's felt, is known, and it is seen. Ooh-wee!
And with that being said, y'all, just know that some people are just meant for seasons. During springtime when those leaves fall, some people are just meant to be seasonal in your life. And if you hold on to those seasons, you cannot properly grow.
I always say before I forget, because we sipping on the
right.
I always say, you've served your time. You've done your job.
Right.
There. Some people are really meant for a season.
Right.
Maybe they're pointing you in the right direction. They went from opening your eyes to maybe a lesson learned to something that you may look back on and be like, okay, that lesson, that's growth. That there, that really mirrored to me what I was falling for.
Right. And that person was just a reflection of you, and there was a lesson in that person that you were supposed to recognize and you were supposed to move on from. But because you're stuck on that season, you looking back at your life, a couple of 50 pounds, heavier with all these children, and you just looking and you just living the same life every year. And that's why, because you're not letting go. You have to let go so that you can grow. So with that being said,
so that you can grow.
Yes.
And we want to hear from you in the comments. I know y'all loving the new setup. We want to hear your opinions. We want to hear from you, because I will be making the custom t-shirts again.
Right.
What was it saying again? Because we're going to put that on the shirt, y'all.
Girl, learn so you can grow.
Learn so you can grow.
Learn so you can grow.
PAININTOPOWER.
Get the shirts that are already out. PAININTOPOWER. She painted this with her blood, sweat, and tears. Please support. I have on her other shirt. These are her art pieces. Please support and follow PAININTOPOWER, because we have so much more to come on YouTube. It's turning Pain into Power. And we just have so much more to talk about. So yeah, comment and let us know, give us feedback. and let us know what you want to talk about.
Yes, y'all. Thank you for tuning into today's episode. I know this is going to help somebody out there. This is going to save somebody out here. Not only save you from getting some psychological bullshit that's not going to feed you, reciprocate, or pour back into you, but really save you from wasting your time. Time is of the essence. Time is valuable. You could be doing so much with your time that is going to grow into a harvest of fruitation. Thank you, Holy Spirit. And I'm going to leave you off with that. Cheers to my bestie. Y'all don't forget Pain in the Power Shop, available on TikTok. Check out the art pieces. Check out the custom t-shirts. We will be going live making custom t-shirts. And check out my girl right here, self-published author.
My published works under Nikisha Browning, my actual name, and there's more to come. So just stay tuned, stay faithful, stay loyal to us, and we're going to keep them hot topics coming.
Yes, we're going to keep the conversations flowing. We're going to keep our wood and real wood round table talks. We will have another segment to this, and we will be posting part 2 of our last conversation, how to regulate your nervous system after abuse. Mental health is pivotal for you to grow. It is a foundation for you to get anywhere else. Keep turning that pain to power, y'all. Deuce, like, share, and subscribe.